Hey, what's up, cats and kittens, and shout out to all my Cerebralites. It is me, the Cerebral Diva, and I'm back with another episode of In the Loop. But before you go another further, do yourself a favor, and while you're at it, do me a solid. Take a second and hit that subscribe button, and once you've done that, take another second to hit that tiny little bell, and that way you'll be kept in the loop. So let's dive right into what we're about to talk about, and that is Charleena Lyles out of Seattle, Washington. And I'm going to try to make this a brief video because I don't know what I can say about this that I haven't already said. It just blows my mind every single time I hear it. And unfortunately, it seems to happen, I don't know, once a week, twice a week. It's just like every single week we're hearing case after case after case of, a black person, black man, black woman, black child being shot by overzealous officers with poor training, what have you. And then we go through this whole thing where, people are calling for the officer to be arrested and tried for murder. And at this point, I give up on even trying them for murder because it's the same outcome every single time. They're acquitted. Our officers are impugned. They cannot be punished for whatever reason. And so I feel like we're just spinning our wheels at this point, and it's just frustrating to watch this happen over and over and over, especially in a case like this with Charleena Lyles. So let me give you a brief synopsis of exactly what happened. Charleena lives in Seattle. She lives in some sort of housing project, if I'm not mistaken. I could be mistaken, but that's based on the information that I have. And also I believe that she suffers from some sort of mental illness. So she was afraid that her home was being burglarized, and she called police to intervene. The police were dispatched. Charleena was holding a knife upon their arrival, and the police shot her. Now, there's a difference between brandishing a weapon and wielding a weapon. She was holding the weapon probably to defend herself. If she's a single mom of 4 and she's pregnant with her 5th child, it would make sense for her to want to grab some sort of tool to protect herself. So the police show up. And once again, where there's an option of de-escalation, do you guys remember, and I'm going to try to not go too far off tangent here, but just stick with me. I lived in Las Vegas, Nevada, and there was a guy by the name of Cliven Bundy there, right? And he was allowing his livestock to graze on federal land. And so he had done it for years, to the point that he had accumulated this $1 million bill that he owed the federal government for allowing his livestock to graze on federal land. So they basically told Cliven that you can't do this, and that if you do this, you're going to have to pay. And he said he refuses to pay. It's not your land. This land is your land. This land is my land. This is essentially his argument. So the federal government sends FBI agents into Mr. Bundy's ranch, and not just Mr. Bundy, but several of his gun-toting, gun-wielding friends. They sort of take sniper positions and have their weapons trained on the FBI agents. The FBI agents walk into the situation, see what's going on, and they walk away, right? They didn't have a shootout at the OK Corral. It was the same thing out in Portland, Oregon, when the militia took over the federal building out there. The same thing. They gave them days upon days upon days on end to de-escalate the situation. But a single mom, a pregnant mom of 4, pregnant with her 5th child, for whatever reason, de-escalation is not an option. And then these people try to tell you, hey, all lives matter. And the same people who propagate this all lives matter are typically pro-lifers, right-wingers who believe that, life begins at conception. And they will find every reason to justify the fact that these police officers killed this woman and essentially aborted her child in the process. And so it's just amazing to me how people can find justifications for things. On one hand, they're adamantly against something, and then suddenly when they're faced with the contradiction, then they find a reason to try to justify it. There's nothing justifiable about 2 men with guns killing a woman who had a knife. There's every opportunity to de-escalate, to walk away, to call in professionals who could help, to call family members and say, look, can you guys talk to her, to do something, to have some sort of intervention other than using bullets. And not only that, like we just saw the same situation happen a few weeks ago with in Tulsa, Oklahoma, with Joshua Beret, where he was also mentally ill, and it was pretty much the same outcome. Police officers followed him into a convenience store and shot him dead. And I just don't understand why de-escalation, why non-lethal methods of subduing criminals is not an option. Or I don't even want to qualify her as a criminal, but I'm just saying it's just crazy to me that this is happening in the world, and that we have people who, for whatever reason, seem to think that it's okay. So I'm going to stop there. I really want to hear what you guys have to say. So make sure you guys comment below. So that's going to be it for this episode of In the Loop. And that concludes this episode. So remember to like, comment, subscribe, and please share if you feel so inclined. Remember to follow me across all social media platforms: Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, and Twitter. Also remember, it is better to be pissed off than it is to be pissed on. And it's always, in closing, people, remember to live better, love harder, and think smarter. It is me, the Cerebral Diva. I will talk to you guys again soon. Have a great day, and as always, thank you for listening.